All right, welcome to another edition of Soto Desperado Plays Ark Survival Ascended. I'm over here at my base. I decided to consolidate the saber-tooths. So I think I got them. It turns out that all the ones with high stats, which I think are the ones with high stats, some of these weren't properly classified or leveled. So I'm just trying to prove that the stat that is supposed to be there is really there, so I'm breeding them. But the problem is that all of them are female, so I had to choose one of the other males. So I chose this male. It's a high level male, and it should be fine. But they're all pregnant now. I'm waiting for them to come out, about 7 minutes or so. I also managed to start the Argentavis consolidation over here. I got health and stamina on this bird. This one has stamina and food. Its father I put upstairs, so I'm trying to get that on there. And then this is going to be weight and melee. And these three will have all the stats, so I have to make them all one bird. And so that's a work in progress because I only have one female there, so I have to go slow on that one. Just one female, and that's it. I'm just waiting for this to squirt out some babas. Now these guys were all juveniles and babies, and they're very low level. Well, some of them are pretty low level. Well, I was going to care about the color, but I decided not to bother with the color. I just don't care about breeding color. I did that when I first got here. I made a kind of a red and black because my base color was red and black, and I just don't care. It's nice to have like a very fluorescent color, like if you can get this yellow or green or whatever it is, lime, and something like this, or this fluorescent color. That way you can see it in caves a little bit easier, but it's not required. Okay, so I got this lady here. I already listened to this one. And it's Dodash. She says if you're over 50 and you need to have more faith in yourself. Well, it's very positive, and the thing is, I told her, they say that because they're feeling the effects of age or just keep losing at life. Thanks for your zeal and compassion for us. I'm not dead yet. That's my opinion. But I'm going to play her.
Here we go.
Dodash.
Here we go. I've been reading y'all's comments, 50 and over. The video I posted about being 50 and over and telling y'all need to get y'all ass on YouTube. I keep hearing people telling me, listen, I don't know if it's because I got beat down all my life. Since 5 years old, my mother did not want me. She did not want me. This world, when I came into it, did not want me. I don't know if that's why I go so hard and I push so hard, and I could care less if anybody wants to listen. I'm going to continue to post. I'm going to continue to share my knowledge. I'm going to go where I need to be and where I'm needed. Instagram didn't work for me. I came to YouTube. I don't know what it is about y'all thinking nobody's going to listen to you and nobody cares, but I know somebody cares. I know somebody's going to listen to me. God didn't put me on this earth.
Ugh. We should have gotten more snacks.
Hey there. Yeah, last minute snacks and groceries with HEB now exclusively in the Favor app. We're talking.
I am not here for no reason. And I want you to hear me good, all of you. I cannot believe that you think that nobody cares. Somebody cares. Just because the people in your life or your mother or your father made you feel like they didn't care, they wanted you to be quiet, they told you talk too much, you are here for a reason. And it really angers me and it really hurts my soul that people say, oh, nobody cares what you have to say. Nobody cares what it is you're saying. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? I know somebody cares. Yes, there has been moments where I'm like, maybe I should just give up or whatever, but that's the flesh. One thing I know for sure, I do not care if I would get 1 view on my video or 2 or 10 or 20 views on my video. I kept posting. I kept posting. I kept posting. And I kept going. And I kept believing. And I kept knowing that I'm here for a reason. How dare you think that nobody cares? Go to a different platform. Go to a different city. Go somewhere where people do care. Continue to ask God, what is it that I'm missing? What is it that's not working for me? Continue to ask for insight and the downloads will come down to you. But don't you dare think that nobody cares. Because why are we here if nobody cared? What are we here for? What is the point of being this magnificent existence of a human being if nobody cared? Yeah, you might post a video and only get 30 views. Keep posting. Go to TikTok, go to Instagram. Maybe that's your platform, but you keep going. You make them care. You make them listen with your passion, with your belief in yourself. Please stop listening, y'all. You have to understand that these word curses that were spoke over us was from people who were fearful and gave up on their dreams. And so they speak these negative word curses into us because they want us to feel what they feel. But the devil is a lie. An absolute lie. Don't you dare say nobody cares, nobody's going to listen to me. Just because when you try to talk to your daughter or your granddaughter or your sister or your brother and they act like they don't want to listen, okay, talk to somebody else. We wouldn't be here if we weren't valuable. We wouldn't be created extensively, amazingly, incredibly as humans if we weren't valuable. If there was no reason for us to be here, why are we created so magnificent? Help me understand, why were we so magnificently created if we have no value? What a waste of time if that was the case. If that was the case, what an absolute waste of time. You can't just say, oh, it's not God's will. That's what a lot of y'all say when things don't work out. It's not God's will. Think about it. It's not God's will? Well, what was the point of even creating us if it was not God's will for you to be successful, for you to have abundance, for you to live a magnificent life, for you to have everything that you wanted and dreamed of, for you to live above your means? You cannot tell me that we, this brain, this mind, this body was a waste of time, so I'm just not even going to try because nobody cares. You make them care. You make them care. You keep showing up. You keep posting. You keep talking with authority. You keep believing in yourself. You don't need validation to keep going. You need to have absolute surety of what you are, who you are, and what you believe in. When you have an absolute surety of what you believe in, you post and you don't care if 5 people show up. You don't care if nobody shows up. You keep believing in yourself. But one thing you have to do is you have to read the room and understand what is going on and what God needs. I read the room of YouTube. I saw people talking about 9-to-5 jobs, and I thought about my experience with 9-to-5 jobs, and so I posted it. I was reading the room. Sometimes you may have so much belief in something, but you need to read the room on how to approach it and share it with the world. Think about, this is just something you need to consult God on. And a lot of people, you don't really watch other people, because I know you want to be innovative and you want to be the first to do it. But right now, there's a trend. And when there's a trend, you got to see it as, okay, is this what God is trying to, is this what, you got to look at the trend. Okay? The trend right now is people are tired. They're tired of their jobs. They're tired of working. They're tired of working for nothing. So how can I put myself in the trend right now? What's a biblical verse that I can find that relates to what's going on right now? People are tired. They're giving up. They're losing strength. They don't have enough money to make it. And then how can you incorporate yourself in there with Bible scriptures or with your creativity, with your art? You gotta keep your eyes open at all times.
That's not ugly.
That's the best way I could say it. You can't be in your own world. You have to talk to people. You have to be aware of what's going on in the world. You can't just come out with things and think and throw it at people. You got to kind of see what's going on with people. What do they need from me? What can I do to help better the situation right now? So I just need you to know that you got to stop thinking nobody's going to listen, because why were you created so magnificently if you had no purpose of being here? You have to figure that out for yourself so you can live the life you want to live. But don't just say that I'm...
health of the
somebody said I'm a loser. I'm a 52-year-old loser.
So this one...
What? And you know what? You keep thinking that. And that's the outcome. You think you're a loser? You're going to operate as if you're a loser. But if you know that you have something to offer, and you speak with authority, and you don't give up. See, this is the problem with a lot of people. They give up because they're like, it's not God's will or it's not meant to be. I'm not the kind of person to say it's not God's will. You will not catch me saying it's not God's will. You will not catch me saying it's not meant to be. Nope, it is meant to be, and it's God's will. It is meant to be. If I feel it in my heart that that's what I want, that's what's going to happen. I feel in my heart it is God's will, and it is meant to be. I'm not going to say that about anything. Because I know how powerful I am. I know how magnificent I am. I know what it is I want. I know it's going to make me operate better in this life. It is God's will. If I'm passionate about it and it's something I want, it is God's will and it is meant to be. And I'm going to keep pushing and pressing and hammering until I see it happen. I'm not going to give up and just sit back and wait until God makes a move. I am going to press. I am going to push. I am going to ask. I am going to squeeze through if I have to. I am going to take it if I have to, because I know it's God's will. Now, I'm not saying take it in a bad way. I'm saying if it's an opportunity that I know is mine, I'm going to show up every day knocking on the door. Okay, I know this is God's will. Let me have it. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Open the door. I want it. If I want that acting opportunity, I'm knocking on that door every day. If I don't get it, okay, well, you're going to see me when the next opportunity comes. It's God's will. It is meant to be. I am not the person to say it's not meant to be. Nope. Nope. Don't tell me, oh, well, maybe you should just be patient and wait. No. That's what sets a lot of people up, and they are 60 and 70 years old still being patiently and waiting. No, that's not me. Nope. I'm tired of being patient and waiting. I am knocking the door down.
Okay. So I just got to find a compartment. I got the stamina. This other baby here, this baby's no good. It didn't get anything. It didn't get the health from the first mother. Got the stamina, but didn't get the melee out of this. Got the melee of the father, which is 508, which is okay. But that's why I just classified it as stamina. And okay, this one is supposed to be stamina as well. So what do we got here? Stamina is 1400. No. This one's supposed to be, I think, stamina as well. This says stamina, but it's a female. It's a female with stamina. So throw it out. Let's see. So I keep this one just in case I need to breed with a male. And we'll put this in here, because I had several stamina options. And now this one's weight. No, oxygen and food is the next one. Should be this one. Yeah, it should be oxygen and food. So for oxygen, 1110, that's the correct oxygen. How about food? Food, it got the weak food. But it's a female with oxygen. So what I'll do is I'll take it and I'm just going to label it. It does have the oxygen. Oxygen, female. So just oxygen by itself. Didn't get the food, but you know it's a female. Once I get males going, I'm good to go. All right. Hard to consolidate too quickly. Stamina, oxygen, stamina. You got one male with stamina, which is good. And the last one is going to be weight. Weight is 452. On this thing it is 480. So I probably got his weight. Yeah, I got his weight, 452. So it's no good. So that one I'll kill. All these three I'll kill them because they don't have the stats I need. And that's that. I'm going to still hold off on killing anything else other than these three. And let's get that going. There we go. And that's how you do it. If they don't have the stats you need, they're not part of the program. It's cold, but that's the way it is. Now, I'm going to disable mating and all these females. They won't be available until tomorrow to rebreed them. And what I'm going to do now is disable all of them from breeding. Yeah, that's going to be 24 hours. This guy, I'm going to turn him off. Oops, not enable. Disable. Okay, so this is the male. He didn't have any of the stats, but all these were female, so I needed a male. So I just got a high-level male. So this male doesn't carry anything, but one of the babies that I have in here is a male. 2 females and a male. Female with oxygen, a male with stamina, and a female with stamina. Okay. So I'm going to raise them. And this male, because it's a male, with one of the stats is going to be the new primary male. And this male is no longer required. So I'll just move him over here out of the way. And take his thing, because I'm probably going to wind up alright, so before I get started and I put that down, I'm going to get a bunch of meat on me. So by tomorrow I should have a new male with the single stamina stat to rebreed with all these females. Except for, well, I don't have to breed the ones that have single stamina anymore. But I do have to rebreed with this one because this has melee, theoretically. So, this female which is supposed to be, well, this says a 1520 stamina. So this is the real stamina. It looks like I don't have the real stamina, but it's close enough. It's still an improvement. So I'm going to keep this one. I think this is a 1500. Oops. Yeah. Okay, so that one has 1520. I want that 1520 versus the 1500. This is a 1500. I'm going to dump it. Take this. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. Recycle that. And so this one supposedly is 1520. So I'm going to remove this stamina. This is going to be 240. And it's going to be melee. Right? It's going to be melee only. Supposedly this melee is valid. We're going to find out. Eventually I'll get a bred offer. The sad thing is that when they're all females like this, it's going to take longer to do it. But this one, I'm going to change the name to I'm going to put 1520 to remind me that 1520 is what this one claims to be. If I can get that 1520 off there, that's the real stamina. But for now, we'll put these babies out and let them grow up. Alright, ugly as hell, but there they are. Okay, I can always rearrange them. Now you have to put food in them or they won't grow up fast enough. Okay, and they'll die of starvation in some cases. Some servers that you don't even have to feed them on some servers because of how they have the settings. But for the most part, you do have to make an effort to try to get them fed. Alright, and that's it. So I got to keep putting food on there till they reach about maybe 400 food or more, and then they'll be fine. And the food will last because it's cooked meat. It'll last. And these guys are going to recycle, and I'm going to try to get that extra 20 points of stamina off of that one. I'm going to try to get melee. I don't know if this melee is legitimate. I'm hoping it is. And the health, I know the health is real. The health is good. I think it is. Pretty sure that's yeah, that's at 3750. That's the highest health I have. And then oxygen, food. Yeah. So we got baby with stamina. That's the male. But this is a weak stamina. It's 1500. I'm going to put 1500 so I know there's a difference. Right? See, it's too bad you can't just put all the food in the inventory. It takes a while for them to be available to do that. There we go. This one is stamina female. This is 1500. Stamina female. I'm gonna put 1500 because it's not quite where I want it to be. If I can get that extra 20 points off of that one over there, I'm going for it. But I'm not sure it's real. See, I didn't classify these things correctly when I tamed them. That's where I fucked up, and that's why it's so confusing. And I'm holding on to all the other ones until I definitely know I got those stats to work with. Once I'm sure I have those stats to work with, then I'll kill off all the other ones, and because I don't need them anymore at that point. And that's it. Anyway, I got too much sugar. My sugar right now is like 208 on a scale from 90 to 120. It's 208. All I had is stew and some green beans. A can of soy stew. Didn't eat more. And I figured, yeah, it's not too bad. Before I ate, it was 150. Now it's 208. So I've been drinking a lot of fluid. Anyway, let's see. Let's see, Joey the Gypsy. Joey the Gypsy is one of my favorites. That motherfucker looked like he'd been around and around.
First thing I want to say is thanks for the 50,000 subs. Appreciate y'all. God, it's great. I'm telling you, once you get your frequency straightened out, everything just kind of falls into place effortlessly. And this is one of the main things I've learned from everything that I've put myself through. Like, I don't even consider it things I've gone through. It's things I put myself through. Now, you know, why would someone put themselves through homelessness and all this other shit? Well, I believe we all kind of, everything is kind of voluntary. You know what I'm saying? I could, I could have lived a normal life, and I got plenty of opportunities to do so, even after I had decided to kind of go off the beaten path. But fortunately for me, my subconscious, it knows, and you know what? I think this is true for everyone. Your subconscious is going to guide you regardless. It's always going to try to guide you on the path where your heart truly wants to be. If you never read The Alchemist, everyone should read that book. You can download it for free off the internet. Just look up Alchemist PDF, and I don't think Paulo Coelho would even mind if you can't afford to buy his book if you read the PDF. You know what I mean? Because he's set for life off of his, and he's written other good books too. I read one other book by him, which was good. It was maybe the 10th Mountain or the 5th Mountain or something. It was good. Wasn't as good as The Alchemist, but it was good. The Alchemist is on a whole other level. Everyone should read that. So, here's the thing, that my subconscious was like screaming at me when I was making money and I was living comfortably and I had this odd job and everything was going good, but my subconscious was screaming at me like, this ain't it. You know what I mean? This is not your path. I don't know how else to explain it. I was not content. Even though everything was fine, I was making more than enough money to, pay my bills and do whatever I wanted. I had plenty of money. When we would hire people to work for us, I would overpay them out of my own pocket because I had money, and it didn't even matter. I had plenty of money coming in. And I also wanted people to, if I needed them to work, to work. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the case. Whenever we needed people to work, we had no problem getting people to work because we paid them well, we treated them well, and we had a lot of fun on the jobs too. But so everything was going on paper, everything was going good, great even, but something inside me was not content. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I should be a fireman like my father. I've got to live up to my father. Not my father's expectations. He never had any expectations, or like my father was. My father was like being raised by like a 16-year-old kid. He didn't put a whole lot of thought into anything, including his kids' futures and shit. I'm not like bitter about it. It's just the way it was just the way he was. You know what I mean? He wasn't the type where he just didn't think about these things. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but so as I was saying, I was thinking, I've got to do something that I was thinking that would make me feel more accomplished or something. I couldn't figure it out. So I was thinking I'm going to go to fire school because I was living in Florida at the time. Had I been in New York, I probably would have ended up being a fireman, honestly. When you got family who were firemen, which I've got multiple family members who were firemen in New York, you kind of got it in, you know what I mean? Like, you get points and shit for that when you go to... It's different. The hiring in New York is different. They open up, and, if you want to be a fireman, you go and you do the... it's like a fire academy type thing. I think this is how it goes. I was trying to be a fireman in Florida, but in New York it's a little different. It would have been a lot easier for me in New York. In Florida, I had to go to junior college and take algebra and all this dumb shit. I was never good at math, and so I tried.
That's the other book he was talking about, The Fifth Mountain.
They gave me like this little math workbook, and
yeah.
I was like, this fucked it. It was all so stupid to me. Like, why would you need to know algebra to be a fireman? It's just so stupid. And the other thing is, coming from a family of New York firemen, a Florida fireman, it's just, it ain't really the same. Not to say anything about the Florida firemen. And I would have been like in the suburbs, it just, I was like, I'm not going through all this bullshit. And then, from what I've heard, everyone who goes through all the bullshit classes and everything doesn't even necessarily get hired in Florida because there's so many people trying to do it. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna relearn algebra, which my memory erased it the instant I left high school. So I was like,
this guy's not
it just wasn't working out. I was like swimming upstream trying to be a fireman in Florida, and it wasn't working. And I was like, fuck it. Something else will come along or something. I didn't know. And then, not long after that, I lost the job with the laying sod because a bunch of hurricanes came through and took us out of business. You can watch my previous videos if you want the full story. But so, at that point, I started doing construction. And, for any young people watching this, my advice is learn a trade, bro. Like, because here's the thing, even if society collapsed, if you know how to use tools and build things, you're always going to have valuable skills. So even if the entire society collapsed, people are still going to need you to help build things. You know what I mean? So it's valuable shit to know. So I did feel a little better once I started doing construction because I was thinking, even though I'm not making much, I'm learning valuable things, man. I learned all phases of construction on commercial and residential just due to bouncing around from job to job. And anyways, so I did feel a little better because I felt like now I'm learning trades and skills that I can always use regardless of the circumstances. I'll always be able to find work. I'm never going to have to worry anymore about, finding a job, because once I have some trades and some knowledge and some skills, it'll be easy to get work. Little did I know, then the economy collapsed, and that was out the window. So, and here's one of the things that annoys me. This video is all over the place, but so they're always like, "Oh, Americans don't want to do the jobs. That's the immigrants got to come in and do them." That is such bullshit. When I was doing construction, there were plenty of Americans trying to do the jobs for just as little as I was doing them for. They were treating us all like shit. They were treating us all as if we were a dime a dozen, which we were, all Americans. And, so we were all trying to work, and we were all competing with each other to work. So when they say Americans don't want to work, it's a fucking lie. We did want to work. And what happened was these dimwits are so incompetent and so stupid that they drove our economy into the ground. So all of us Americans who were trying to do construction, all of a sudden there was no construction. What happened was we all left that industry because we realized it wasn't the security we were looking for. And so we all left the industry, and 9 out of 10 of them probably ended up homeless and on heroin and shit, like I did. So, I don't want to hear that bullshit. Americans don't want to work. They do want to work. And so every once in a while, I'll look at the job classifieds just out of curiosity. I don't need a job no more. And if I was going to do construction, I'd be doing it for myself. I wouldn't be doing it for nobody else nowadays, because I'm confident enough and knowledgeable enough to where, I wouldn't work. I'd work for myself if I was going to do construction. But I'm not interested in doing it no more. But anyways, I'll look at these job listings, and they all swear up and down they need all these workers, and nobody wants to work. And then you look at the job listing, and it's like, send your resume here, and maybe we'll consider you. And if you're lucky, not in these exact words, but this is the tone of it. And you're gonna have to pass a drug test and this and that. And I'm like, the nerve of these motherfuckers. They need work so bad, yet they want you to, write up some bullshit resume full of lies and send it to some where it's just going to get ignored. And obviously, you don't need workers that bad if you're acting like that. Like, I wouldn't work for someone like that. They're already setting the tone right off the bat. Like, you're not valuable to us. You'll be lucky if we get a hold of you, and if we do get a hold of you, you're still going to have to jump through some hoops. So that's the tone they're setting before they even hire you. So imagine how they're going to treat you when you work in there. They're going to, so I'm like, yeah, plenty of people want to work. They just don't want to work for assholes, number one. They don't want to work for whatever shit pay you're going to give them. So it's like, I don't want to hear that shit. You don't need to flood the country with foreigners to get workers. You need to flood the country with foreigners so you can get slaves. That's really what they're doing. So, anyways, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is, so, I'm just now getting to the point, 11 minutes in. This is why... Yeah, 50,000 subs, I appreciate it. Trust me, that's huge. I'm very grateful. But I think my channel would be a lot bigger and, a lot more popular if I didn't ramble on for 15 minutes before I get to my point. But, it is what it is, and I do what I do. So the point I'm trying to make here is all this external shit that we are taught from birth. Really, we're taught these things matter, material gains and success, and you have to compete with everyone to get ahead, and sometimes you gotta step on some toes or use somebody's head as a step ladder, and this is how a lot of people are taught. And this is one of the upsides of having a father who was kind of like, didn't really know what he was doing. He wasn't teaching me stuff like that. My father was, if he ever bothered to try to teach me anything, it would be to, be nice and, be a decent person. You know what I mean? he wasn't like, oh, you got to fucking step on everyone and get ahead. My father was kind of telling me the opposite, you know. Um, but so, but every other aspect of the world was kind of teaching me, you know, put yourself first and screw everyone else and this and that, and it just never really sat right with me. I'm not trying to make myself out to be a saint. I'm just like, it's just how I am. I don't. The most important thing for me is peace of mind. I want to be able to sit with myself peacefully with my own thoughts, not feeling guilt and shame and fear and anxiety. That's what matters to me. Put me anywhere. As long as I got my peace of mind, I'll figure it out, and I'll get it. I'll get right back on my feet. You know, the external material possessions and shit. I like to have nice things, but I also realize that it's all very easily replaced. I've lost everything more than once. I've accumulated some things again. And here's the upside to losing everything all the time. When you do accumulate them again, you're getting the brand new, best high-tech shit. I mean, you know, the speakers for my computer, everything I got is like really nice and new, and it's great. And so if I lose everything again, when I reaccumulate it again, I'll have all the brand new shit again. So it's like the shit comes and goes, it seems. But, and I'm not saying I want to lose everything again. I'm just saying if I did, it wouldn't drive me up the wall. I've been through it so many times at this point that I'd get right to fucking work. You know, I ain't got time to be lamenting and being upset. It's time to start building again. You know what I mean? But here's the thing I've learned. So, what actually matters, and what's really going to have the most impact on the external world, is how you feel internally. Like I said, like, when you're at the right frequency and you are at peace with whatever happens, whatever this world throws at you, you know deep down in your heart that you're gonna handle it like a fucking pro. That's when you got that mentality, which I've really only recently fully integrated that. You know, I've been trying to get there my whole fucking life, but now I kind of feel that I'm there because I've got a lot of things that I've built up over the years as far as skills and knowledge and shit. You know, I can go out on the street and make money. I can make money on the internet. I can make, you know, I'm not too concerned about losing any one thing because I've got multiple things as backups. You know what I mean? So what it all equals out to is peace of mind. And what's really funny is now that I am at peace with whatever happens, I don't care what happens. I know I'm going to be all right. I know God is with me. Now that I'm like fully at peace and kind of, you know, not too concerned, everything's going great. And I'm starting to realize that I believe I brought a lot of these hardships on myself by focusing and concentrating and thinking, what am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if that happens? I got to figure that out. Next thing you know, lo and behold, that shit starts happening. And so I'm starting to think I manifested all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that I wish I didn't. I'm actually glad I dealt with all that shit because it was the only way to get my subconscious mind settled to this point. I hope I'm making sense here because this is, I believe this is important. So what I'm trying to say is I believe had I reached this frequency, this state of mind 20 years ago, I could have skipped over all the hardships and shit. I could have skipped over it all. It's like your state of mind is what actually matters, is what I'm starting to realize. So I think that someone who is 16 years old could, like, if they could get their frequency to this point, they would just everything would just fall in their lap. They wouldn't have to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So now I don't know if that's 100% true. It's just the feeling, it's the impression that I'm kind of, it's kind of dawning on me lately that I really think that had I just, you know, like controlled my own worry and anxiety and control my own mind, I believe I could have skipped over all that hardship. But here's the other thing. I'm glad I went through all that shit. You know what I mean? But I guess if you could reach the same result without having to deal with any of it, I suppose that's just as good, because what really matters is the result. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't regret any of it. I'm glad I dealt with all that shit. Just, I think back on the hardest times fondly. Not that I want to go back there, but it's, it really feels good to be in this position after being in such horrible positions. And here's another thing that really bothered me when I was homeless. I didn't know how long it was going to last. There was times where I'd be getting like some short reprieve of all the difficulties. Like, for instance, this dude Marty in Washington Square Park, this old dude who I ended up kind of becoming friends with. Anyways, one time in the winter, I was dead broke, freezing cold out. I'm not making no money. Marty's like, Joey, what are you going to do? You're not going to make no fucking money today. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Marty's like, look, I manage an apartment in Kew Gardens in Queens. He's like, I got an empty apartment. He's like, I'm going to let you stay there for a week. I'm going to pay you to do some work around the place. He's like, Marty just helped me out. Marty just felt bad for me and hooked me up with a fucking apartment for a week and paid me to do some maintenance around the place. Thank God for Marty. I think he gave me $200 and a place to stay for a week. And he didn't make me do a whole lot of work around the place. The place didn't need that much work. Marty was just like, you got to do something if I'm going to give you an apartment and $200, you know? So
Yeah.
I was more than happy to
That's
do it.
true. You don't like to just give stuff
anyways,
away.
I helped Marty maintain the place for a week. He gave me $200. But one of those nights I was sitting outside the apartment smoking a cigarette and looking at all the lights in the apartments. It was freezing out. It was fucking really cold out. Rough patch in the winter. It was like they were calling it a polar vortex or some shit. It was like 10 degrees for like a week straight. And so Marty was like, this kid's gonna end up fucking dying out here. Let me help him out, you know? So I was outside that apartment in Kew Gardens smoking and looking at all the lights in the apartments and being real jealous of the people who get to live in these places and thinking to myself, am I ever going to be one of these people who's comfortable, who don't got to worry, who doesn't have to fucking live outside in 10 degrees and sleep on the trains and worry about eating? Like, I was so jealous of the people, man. And I was thinking to myself, it wouldn't be that bad if I knew how long it would go. I could be living like this for the rest of my life. I don't know, you know? And it was a really kind of scary and unsettling thought, not knowing how long it was going to go. But I can tell you one thing from my experience, that you're going to get breaks. No matter how bad things are, it's not going to last that long. It's going to last as long as it has to last. You know what I mean? Everything's synchronistic. Like, I'm telling you, man, things work on a level that we are not taught about. It's like beyond our comprehension. But if you want details, go on my Patreon. I haven't pushed my Patreon too much lately because it's doing real good. But so, you know, I'm telling you, reality functions on a level that we're not taught about. We're taught that, well, you know, you got to do this and you got to do that. You got to step on heads sometimes and shit. I think, honestly, that's like the worst advice. When you do things like that, it comes back to you. It ends up setting you back, I believe. So, you know, I believe what really matters is that regardless of the external circumstances, that this is what really matters. You stay true to yourself and you stay true to God. Now, whatever you perceive God to be, it doesn't even matter. It's just a higher power, a greater force, the creator of everything. There's got to be a creator. This shit didn't just pop up out of nowhere by accident. I know they try to teach you that, but you got to be a fool to believe it, honestly. So just look into biology, look into evolution. If you think there's no intelligence, if you think there's no God behind that, then I don't know what to say. You got to study it deeper, because
intelligent design,
you'll see God. If you study
thing.
nature, you will see the work of God with intelligence, with
intelligent design.
A level of intelligence that is beyond what we could possibly ever match or comprehend. But anyways, so, you know, what I'm trying to say. Now, what the hell am I going to title this video?
Before Shopify, were you wondering, where are my sales at? But now you're selling with Shopify. You're easily selling online, in person, and beyond. Discover how millions of entrepreneurs use Shopify to ignite their selling. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/YouTube audio.
You know, what I'm trying to say is, once you get your frequency right, and I made that video pretty recently about how to change your frequency, once you get your frequency right, the stars align. And another example, when I had a high frequency going, was when I was first doing the portraits, and all of a sudden I went from struggling to make $30 a day to all of a sudden I'm making a couple $100 a day. I got people lined up on the benches waiting for portraits and shit. I was making, I felt like I fucking won the lotto. It was even better than winning the lotto, because I know as long as the weather ain't too bad, I can go out to Central Park and make a couple of $100 whenever I feel like it. It's like having an ATM machine or something. I mean, obviously I got to do portraits, and you know, the people got to be happy with them, but that was a given. They loved my portraits. You know, they just, my silly little cartoonish style of drawing attracted a lot of people. And so, you know, it just, the stars aligned so perfectly. A lot of people at this time wanted like a kind of unique and original profile picture for their Instagrams and Facebooks and shit. So my business was booming. You know, people wanted cool little cartoon drawings of themselves to use on social media and shit. So my shit was banging there. And so, you know, it changed my frequency to the point where, even though I was homeless, I was stress-free. I was chilling. I'd go into Starbucks and buy me a coffee. I'd buy these expensive, ridiculously expensive snacks that nobody buys except for like the super rich people on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Like, you know, these like things I always wanted to try in Starbucks, but I was never willing to spend $7 on like a bag of cheese puffs. But once the money was flowing, I was like, fuck it, give me 2 bags of them cheese puffs. Give me the white ones and the yellow. I'm gonna fuck it. I want to try them, you know? And everything just kind of changed for the better. And then I was floating along. Everything was going great. Next thing I know, they hit me with this coronavirus bullshit, shut down my whole city. And I tell you what, that messed my frequency up. And it took me a couple years to recover it. But I feel I'm back at it now. And everything's going pretty good for me. And I believe, and here's the other thing, a lot of people are out there struggling, and I believe mostly it's because you're letting them control your subconscious mind, bro. They got you thinking like the economy's bad and this is happening and that's happening, and the results are going to be that I'm going to be poor. So I believe they got you manifesting shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to stop worrying about these motherfuckers and what they're doing. I don't care who the president is. It doesn't make a shit of a difference to me. I would rather have Trump win. But here's the thing. I believe it's all a show anyway. It doesn't whether it matters or not, it doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna I'm gonna rise above all that shit. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if the whole fucking society collapses. I'm gonna figure something out. I'm gonna be all right. Now, that's the state of mind you got to get to. That's the frequency you got to get to. And like, you can't be lying to yourself. You have to really feel it. So, you know, how exactly do you get to that point? Well, you know, the way I got to it was the hard way, the long way. I dealt with everything I was afraid of till I wasn't afraid of it no more. Here's the thing. I don't think you got to do all that. I think you can skip all that. Now, whether you want to skip it or not is up to you. If I could go back in time and skip it all, would I? No, I wouldn't. I enjoy all the adventures I had, and the hardship was a big part of the adventure, man. That's the best parts of the story. The best parts of the adventure is when I was completely screwed. You know what I'm saying? When things were at their worst, those are the best stories to tell. So, you know, I believe you could skip over all that if you want, though. You just got to get to the right state of mind, you know? So, hopefully this video makes sense. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Maybe a title will pop into my head when I watch it, but I appreciate y'all. Thanks for the 50,000 subs. That's huge. Did I ever think I'd hit 50,000? Yeah, to be honest, I had every intention of hitting 50,000. I have every intention of hitting way bigger numbers. So, yeah, you know, if you're gonna get into YouTube and shit, don't aim low. You know what I'm saying? But here's the other thing. You know, a lot of YouTubers I see, they think they got to do all these little tricks, these little clickbaity tricks and shit. I don't do none of that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I think it has more to do with frequency than it does with I've got to control every little aspect of every little thing. I've got to look surprised in the thumbnails. Like, that shit makes me chuckle when I see the YouTubers trying to be all like you know, super expression in the thumbnails. They think maybe it does get more views. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not gonna, you know, make some stupid face for the thumbnails. Although I let YouTube pick the thumbnails, and sometimes it does pick a stupid face. So I let YouTube handle that shit, bro. Like I said, you know, I don't try to micromanage every little aspect of my life. I used to, but I don't now. I'm more concerned with the overarching way I feel, and I'm telling you, look, here's a perfect example. Like, for the last month or two, since July, when I lost my little trailer back here, my life has been upside down trying to get this thing built out, having to live in the garage. I couldn't work. I couldn't put up videos. And I was like, I didn't know what to do because I had nowhere to work. My car was wrecked and I'm living in a garage. So I'm like, my YouTube is just going to be driven into the ground because I'm not putting nothing up. And I didn't even want to look at it. I was like ignoring it because if I can't work on it, I don't want to sit there dwelling on it. Anyways, finally, I got an opportunity to make a video. I make the video. I look at my YouTube stats, how I'm doing. And it was doing fucking great. I was like, what the fuck? I haven't put up a video in like 2 weeks. And I got shit going viral over here. Shit I put up years ago. So here's one of the smart things I did with YouTube, though. I make evergreen content, which means my video...
If you've been getting scam texts like these, it was me. I said that probably means your data's been leaked. And I have all...
My videos... the relevancy doesn't matter as to the date. So the videos I put up are not time specific. It's called evergreen content. I do the same when I write stand-up comedy jokes. I try to avoid all the whatever's happening currently because that shit is only good for a very short amount of time. When you do evergreen content, when you're talking about bigger subjects, there's no time limit on it. So videos I put up two years ago, they're just as relevant now as they were 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So that's one of the smart things I did with YouTube. So every once in a while, the algorithm picks up one of your videos and here's how the algorithm works. This video is just all over the place, but I'll tell you, y'all, in case you want to make a YouTube, what happens is, so when people watch more than 50% of your video, and then they go and watch one of your other videos, the algorithm will start pushing you out there. So apparently that happens a lot with my channel. People will watch one of my videos, they'll watch more than half of it, and then they'll go to my channel and they'll watch something else. When that happens, the algorithm pushes you out way more. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. Alright, this video is getting long. So anyways, thanks for the 50K. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the Patreons especially. You get it, like, Patreon's always there for me when my YouTube, has gone down in the past. I had the Patreon backing me up. Really appreciate it. And it's not like I'm making 50K a month on YouTube, but I'll put it to you this way. Things are going good enough to where I ain't sweating no bills. Not that I have a lot of bills. I live in a car. So I'm not really sweating bills anyway. But anyways, yeah. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the subs, likes, comments, tips. And look, if you're having difficulties with opiates or heroin or Suboxone or methadone, check my videos. Apparently my videos are helping a lot of people out with that, and that's really good news to me. I'm really happy to hear that, and it makes me grateful that I went down that road and ended up addicted to that heavy shit. You know what I mean? Because apparently it's helping a lot of people out. I really appreciate those comments. So yeah, appreciate y'all, and I guess I'll see you on the next one, or I'll see you on Patreon. Everybody have a good one, man.
All right. I found that book he mentioned, and I found two of those books. They're by the same author. And I forgot what it was. I have it in here. The Alchemist. And then I looked at the end of the document, and it's got other books by the same author. And one of them is The Fifth Mountain. That's the other book he says he read. So, yeah. Anyway, in case you guys are curious about what he was talking about, thumbs up for Joey. And we're at about an hour, so we're going to go ahead and call it. And let's see. There we are. Well, thanks you for watching. You guys have a good night. Or good day. And when it comes to manipulating reality, all the subjects he talked about, you basically are using your consciousness to rise above reality. A demon is so lower vibrational that it cannot affect reality. I know it's good at energy manipulation, but it's not good at physical reality. So they can't generate a physical reality. That's why they had to enslave you to build a world for them, essentially. That's why they did what they did. But I'm getting more raptors. I'll try to get more raptors. But anyway, we'll see what happens with this thing. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. And I'm getting kind of tired, so I'm probably going to lay down too. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye, guys.